All right, everybody, welcome to Raw Sessions with me, Jiggee Jon. It's been a long time since I've gone live, and today I've got the ultimate guy to bring on the show live because it is the craziest man Malaysia has ever seen and known, who happens to be my brother from a different mother, different father, different akka, different anne, and whole lots of difference, but yet we still same lah. So,
Yo.
anyways, folks, if you're just joining us, it's been a long time I haven't gone live, and today I'm going live again after a yonks on my little channel called Raw Sessions because it is all about telling raw stories. And this man here is a gentleman who's got not just one, but probably 20,000 raw stories to share with us. With all the crazy adventures that he has undertaken in recent years, but probably the craziest one is the one that is to date lah, as of 2020. As they would say in Tamil, "Ninga tha paitikaran," mad for that.
Paitikaran lah. Ayo, orang gila.
Mad
Siao kia.
is what we call a mad dog. But
Siao
if not
kia.
now, if not now, when? If not when,
Right.
you know what I mean? So,
Right.
folks, if you're just watching us, the reason I have raw sessions is basically open talk, straight talk with anybody and everybody. And today, Andrew, LD, although I don't have a clue what LD stands for, long
Lembu dangdut.
Lembu Dangdut. So, my
No
man
lah.
Andrew is streaming in from Penang. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you don't know about this guy, he looks rather unassuming. He's a big boy, both in size and in character. But what he has undertaken recently is nothing short of what we call epic lah. All right. So before we go any further, a bit of background of this homeboy here. He's a fellow event planner like me, fellow adrenaline junkie, but he takes it 25,000 times off the grid lah. What I do is normal by normal human standards. This fella is our boy of kryptonite and vibranium and the whole nine yards. So, how's that for an intro?
Crazy, man. The best intro ever.
I know.
Terbaik,
So,
bro.
terbaik. So,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the stream, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Andrew is because given all that's been going on with the recent pandemic, just before it struck, Homeboy went off on an adventure of a lifetime. And he was nicely traveling by road from Penang all the way to the Ur, right through the Ur, onwards to final destination, which was Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Yeah. And so
You were supposed to go further than that.
I know. For anyone who has traveled by road from Penang all the way to Pakistan, I think that is nothing short of miraculous, if I would say that. I mean, I can't even fathom the idea of doing that because for any normal person, the idea of traveling is jumping on a jet and jetting off somewhere, and then your adventure begins.
Right.
Correct. So let's take it back a couple of notches. Now, I know in your recent lifetime you've done some crazy trips. You've driven, your Ford Ranger to the borders of China. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right. Up to the borders of China. I didn't enter
That was
China.
what, 3 years ago?
Exactly 3 years ago, 2017.
Did you enter China?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
So
There's a whole reason for that. Yeah. I can explain it later.
Nice.
Every single detail about it. Yeah.
And you've driven where else now? Where else have you just jumped in your truck and driven to?
Pretty much Southeast Asia, to Cambodia, to Myanmar. The whole of entire Thailand I've already explored. From east, west, north, south, central. I pretty much stopped until Laos, at the end of Laos, where China border is, because we are pretty much trapped. After Laos, we cannot go any more further because the permits required to cross those areas are tremendously difficult.
Okay, so Andrew, tell us now, how young are you? There's a reason I'm going to ask you these questions, and don't feel shy, because I think your story, it is supposed to shake the heebie-jeebies out of the rest of us who question the fact that, you need to be at a different stage in life, different point in life, blah, 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 all manner of evil. Everybody's got excuses and whatnot. But I think here you are at this ripe age of
35, bro.
35-year-old punk.
Actually not yet 35 lah. 34. November only 35.
See, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A 34-year-old young man who, uh, thanks to his girth, looks a little bit more mature, but that's not the point.
Girth,
But
bro, girth.
he is actually out there just doing this. I mean, I've known you now. I don't know, maybe I don't know, dude. How long have we known each other? 8 years, maybe.
Yeah, around
About
there. We
there.
knew each other from Facebook more longer than that, like,
No,
actually.
no, of course. We never met in person
Right,
till
right, right.
not. I mean, honestly, it might be only 5 years ago.
5 years, lah. 5 years, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, tops. So here we are, Facebook friends, because of the industry we're in, which is events, and that brought us together. But after watching your journey and your adventure, so what in the world prompted you? When was your first trip? When did you do? When did you do this first crazy ass trip?
Wow, wow. I can remember trying to explore since budak kecil. Since I think 7 years old, 6 years old, already trying to explore already. I took my
You know, bec-
bicycle,
yeah,
cycle,
because
cycle as far as I could get myself lost, and then come home
yeah,
with all the injuries. My dad would
right,
literally just take my bicycle and hang on the wall and say, "No more bicycle for you," because I
right.
would come back with all the injuries on my knees.
Yeah,
Right.
because I mean, once I started getting to know you and watching your journey, and then along the way, I
Right.
met Yusuf Hashim, the 75-year-old
Okay. Yeah.
explorer,
Yeah.
and then
He rocked.
and he tells his story. A lot of people know it, but a lot of people don't know your story. I mean, people do, but only people who know you, because you're not the kind of guy who shouts it
Right.
off the rooftops, lah. You've been very low
Right.
profile about what you do. You do your
Right.
thing,
Right.
and what I love the most about your journeys are the videos that you should do. It's like next level, man. Like National Geographic has got nothing on you, lah.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
No, I mean you shoot these videos, you edit it. Anybody watching it is first of all in awe of the journey that you just went on. You give us a perspective of life that that we take for granted, because you're the first fella I know
Right.
who goes off the beaten path. You don't go off to exotic locations. I mean, it is exotic. No,
It is.
let me not water it down. But what I'm trying to say is
Right.
how you get there is not how the rest of
Right.
us would.
Right.
and
Right.
and and
Right.
you take the roads less traveled and all that. So I think I don't know of how many others there are in this particular age bracket in their 30s who just get up, have this epiphany, and off they go. And I think that's bloody remarkable of you, lah. So how in the world, like, what prompted you? So your most recent, like, cross country, when did that happen? The first one.
All right. The first one, if I could remember, I think I was 20 years old, around 20 years old, 21 years old. Is when in fact, I bought my first car when I was 21 years old. And
Nice.
easy minyak, fill up with fuel, full tank. I explored the entire of Malaysia. I went down south I went down from Penang, go down to KL, KL to Johor, Johor to the east coast of Malaysia, Terengganu, go up until Kelantan, and then come back to Penang again. That was my first trip that I did, my long journey.
And I'm pretty sure this was before Google Maps and Waze. Am I correct?
Right. I think that time, yeah, not yet. Still don't have GPS and all that yet. We were just
Correct.
following
So did
right,
road signs
and all that.
Just following road
signs
signs?
and all that. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I had my
so-
friends with me and all that during that time. I brought my
Cool.
friends along, and it was really fun.
So that was your first road trip, lah. But when did you do your first international road trip?
First international road trip was when actually prior to that, crossing border and all that, flying to places. But then until when I got my bike, I think when I was 27, 28,
Okay.
I think that's when I joined. Some of my friends who has bikes and all that, and they wanted to go for a Phuket bike trip.
Okay.
So that's when my first time I learned on how to get the documentation right. What should I do? Right. So that's the first time when I actually crossed the border with my own vehicle, and
Nice.
we rode all the way to Krabi, and from Krabi went up to Phuket. And ever since, I've been going to Phuket, I think more than 10 times now. With my own
Really?
vehicle.
Yeah. So how long is the
Right.
journey from Penang to Phuket?
Oh, super easy. And once you cross the border, everything is magnificent.
But how long is the journey, like door to door?
The journey is you can break it down in two nights. You can do it in one night, but I would always recommend it that you do it in 2 nights, because your first stop would be up to Krabi. You do not want to reach your destination tired, so I would suggest that you will just go up to Krabi, which is around 600 kilometers.
So from Penang,
600 kilometers, yeah, from Penang, you go all the way to Krabi. It will be around 600 kilometers, and then you stay in Krabi overnight.
Here's the question: if we do it from KL, where should we? Do we still only stop in Krabi, or do we break it somewhere else?
I suggest that you stay in Hat Yai.
So we need 3 nights then to drive to Phuket.
Yes, yes. You can do it in 2 nights still. You stop at Hat Yai, the following day you can shoot off straight from Hat Yai to Phuket.
Okay.
Many people
So
has
what's
done 1 day. Actually, many of the bikers has done 1 day. Many people want to do 1 day because of the duration of holidays that they actually have. They can't really take a lot of holidays and stuff like that. That's the reason why. But if you have the time, I always suggest to break it down slowly so you'll actually enjoy the journey. You get to stop
right?
the place, you get to eat wherever you are, get to indulge in wherever you are. And the journey
Very-
won't be too rushed. You won't be too tired driving or riding.
Yes, yes, yes. So you've done both
Right.
now. You've done bikes. You've done cars.
Uh,
Which one's more fun, man?
wow, totally different. It is.
I know.
It's totally a different experience, bro. Totally different experience. You using car, everything is just so comfortable. You just leaning back, you're listening to your own songs. The climate control, outside storm, hot, dusty, whatever. You are not interrupted by those things. In fact, it's very meditative when you drive. When you are riding your bike, you will forget about your problems or whatever things that you want to forget about,
Right,
but in a different way.
right,
Because when
right,
you're riding your bike, you'll be so focused on the environment, the heat, the rain, the situation, that will make you focus entirely on the road only, and the situation makes you forget about everything. So it's a two total different thing.
Now,
I would suggest that. Yeah.
so with all these international trips that you've done, what's the
Right.
ratio of motorbikes versus like vehicles, like your truck or cars or whatnot?
I've started off with my bike. Then after calculating the distance that I wanted to go with my bike, I realized that I couldn't bring much things,
Mm,
and I couldn't do certain things that I want to do, like
mm,
camping.
mm.
Like you want to camp in your car, or you want to bring your camping items, or you want to go certain places which is much deeper.
Yeah,
You want to go off track. You want to go off track into the jungle, or
yeah.
maybe you want to go to some river which is not on the main street. Your motorcycle will be much more difficult to get to those places. So that's why I got my four by four truck, actually, because certain places I
Right.
cannot access by main road, and it's a total different thing lah. Your bike a total different experience. Car a total different experience. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know many others who
right,
have actually done both, lah. So
right,
I mean, it's interesting how you. So I have to put you on the spot. Like you've done both.
right.
Which would you prefer more?
Car.
Ah,
Straight out, I would say car.
and why
Comfort.
is that?
Right. Comfort.
Mm,
I have my reasons. If I were to say bike, the experience of traveling is totally different. You will feel like you are in the place because you don't have any barrier between the location and yourself. You
mm,
will actually feel the wind, you will feel the rain, you will feel the dust and everything. But if you're in the car, you're a bit more relaxed. You're a bit more relaxed. You can travel more slower. You can take your time. You can
yeah,
rest. The
yeah.
safety is there, but the expenses is different. So there is plus and minus for both of
Right, right,
this.
right.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, so what prompted this year's trip? Like, how did that happen, and what fired you up to just get out there and do it, lah, or be all crazy like
For
that?
for actually, it didn't start from this year, bro. It started, I think, about since that Phuket trip. The
Okay.
racun, the poison started from that Phuket trip. Once I knew how to cross the border with my own vehicle and the
Oh, is
documentation,
it, huh?
once I found out about the way of how to do it, and that's it already. I started planning since then. I think 2005, 2015, sorry, 2015, 2016. And
Okay.
once I started traveling from that kind of method, I started planning from traveling in Thailand first. I started planning to do North Thailand first,
Mm,
or Thailand or West Thailand. There are many places in Thailand itself which are really incredible. The routes that you want to reach those places are really amazing. Many tourists never seen before, because those places you actually have to access by your own vehicle only. Most people will fly in, rent a vehicle, and then they will travel this way. So, I have my own vehicle, might as well, just drive in.
You're not the first person to mention that Thailand has, I mean, amazing roads, an amazing road system. Number one,
Right,
and it's a beautiful country for road trips. You are one of quite a few of my friends who have done that,
right.
who stand by that, and I've seen photos and videos, and I think they do actually. They've got a very highly efficient highway system, if I'm not wrong, as well.
Yeah, bro. The road system is actually very immaculate. You don't even have to pay toll all the way until Laos. You once the moment you cross the border in Thailand and you start riding or driving all the way until the north of Thailand and cross into Laos, you do not have to pay any toll, zero tolls. And
That's amazing, huh?
the road conditions are immaculate.
Huh.
Facilities, petrol, cleanliness in the rest stops, the amount of rest stops available along the way, immaculate. Unless you enter Bangkok, there is some places that you still have to pay toll, like Don Muang area, where the airport is and things like that. You still have to pay some. But other than that, is you're free. You're free to go anywhere you want, no toll whatsoever.
Interesting.
And everywhere is just beautiful. Everywhere the road is just smooth and big and clean. But of course, the riders over there, it's a bit more maniac and more crazier. So
Really?
everyone have to jaga sikit. Yeah, a bit more crazier. Yeah.
Huh.
You have to understand the system there. You have to ride or drive long enough to understand what you are reading or what you are seeing that is happening in front of you. The
Interesting.
laws and the way we think. Yeah, even when I was riding in Nepal, when I was driving in Laos, or even in Cambodia, Myanmar, everything is totally different. Totally different. So Thailand, long enough, you would understand that you have to foresee a lot of things which you never knew that would happen.
So now that you've done so many rides and car trips, well, when I say car, I do mean your truck. Which country has stood out the most for you? Like, which one really just blew your mind?
Wow. Blew my mind.
I mean, like, just
it is so different, bro. It is so.
But which one ranks at the top of the pile for you now? Because you've been there, done that, right? With quite a few now.
Wow. Right now, I would say Pakistan, bro.
So your most recent trip?
I would say, right. Pakistan is just crazy.
And
culture shock beyond belief.
Right. Now, care to explain what do you mean by that? When you say crazy and you say culture shock, I mean, okay, let me actually go back one notch. You see, because I think you are a different kind of a traveler. You're not the quintessential traveler who travels just because, oh, it's time for a holiday. I need to go somewhere and I'm going to do all the classic Instagram shit.
Right.
You don't do that. You travel with a different sense of a purpose.
Right.
At least that's what I've noticed about you. Right. So when you say Pakistan and crazy, because when we're about to pull up some photos, I don't think many others will relate the same way to your definition of like, oh my God, Pakistan blew my mind. Like, I mean, no way.
Right.
It's not everyone's cup of tea. In fact, it's nobody else's cup of tea that I personally know. The way you get out there and do your thing. So when you say that Pakistan right now would be top of the list for you, from what angle, man? Like, I mean, like from what angle?
Let me just also say that Nepal is also another crazy country. Really, another crazy country to be in.
Next, you'll be lining all of them up and saying they're all the best.
Right. Third, I would say Myanmar. Not that I've traveled all the countries in the world yet. Not that I've traveled to all the routes that I've already planned up in my lifetime. But these are the places that really stood out as being culture shock.
Right.
Culture shock. Well, about Pakistan just now, when you asked me that, I give you an example how culture shock things are. I've traveled pretty much from Penang. I entered Thailand. I traveled from Penang to Thailand using train, Thailand to Myanmar using bus, and then I continued across Myanmar into India, past minivans with 15 to 20 people crammed up inside the van and things like that, on motorcycles, on tuk-tuks, on tricycles to get from one places to the other. Cross all those places, reach the border of East India. And when I was in India, I was in Imphal, Nagaland, Dimapur, all on the east side of India. Things were still okay. I jumped onto the train. Oh, culture shock! The train was another culture shock experience. And when I hit all the way to Delhi, took an auto to get to the border of in Amritsar.
Yep.
So I shot from Delhi to Amritsar. I took a train from Amritsar to the border of Pakistan. I took auto, the Indian tuk-tuk.
Yeah.
Still okay. Everything is still not that you still can fathom the craziness.
Right.
But the moment you get your, when you're at the border itself and then you want to get your passport stamped, and then the moment you step out of the passport area,
yeah,
and there will be a stadium waiting for you, a giant stadium. I believe that you seen one of my videos that you see it's like a stadium and everybody shouting Pakistan Zindabad, Pakistan Zindabad. You know the thing shouting. That is actually at the Wagah border. Wagah border is
Okay.
Wagah border and Indian border. They are all side by side. Every single day since if I'm not mistaken, 1959. Every single day they will have a concert-like ceremony to bring down the flag every single day, shake hand with each other, the Indian army and the Pakistan army. Everybody will be screaming their lungs off for 1 hour plus. Starting
Wow.
from that onwards, Starting from that onwards, you want to step out from that little stadium it's a stadium for border closing. You know, it's like got no relation. It's not like a cricket match or anything like that.
I know.
You
I
saw that
saw
video,
it.
right? Right. You should check that ceremony out. It's only unique to Pakistan and India border only in this whole entire world. So once you get up from that border and then you get into your cab and then you start traveling, you will reach like traffic light and then you will have donkeys on your right, you will have horse on your left, and they are all waiting together with you for the traffic light to turn green.
So, I mean, like, how many days did it take you to reach Pakistan from the time you left Penang?
I wouldn't recommend anybody to do it the way I did it. I kind of did it in a rush, actually.
Okay.
I kind of did it in a rush, actually. But I did the whole entire trip in 28 days. It's very rushed. Yeah, very rushed. I took about 22 days or probably 22 days to get to Pakistan.
Okay.
Right. And I spent actually total just about 8 to 9 days only in Pakistan, and I had to rush back. I wanted to continue the trip actually for another additional probably about 14 days.
Yeah.
But I already started to see news that even Pakistan was going to go into a lockdown and it's going to shut off the airport and everything. All I was supposed to explore. Believe it or not, I don't want to mention it because my mother will go panic if I say this.
Why?
I was supposed to enter Afghanistan.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I was supposed to enter Afghanistan. I was supposed to go down to Iran.
Whoa,
Right.
dude. How long were you planning to be on the road?
Right. So these are the places that you actually can go across the country. You can just stop in one place and then you can just go across the country. Just explore first lah. Maybe next time you can come back to that particular country and spend more time in that country. But you can go past those countries first. But those countries require like a guard and a tour guide to follow you. They will be much more safer lah.
Wow.
But pretty much I was just right beside Afghanistan. I was just 180 kilometers away from Afghanistan. I was in Abbottabad. Abbottabad is where Osama bin Laden was assassinated. Yeah, I was just right beside the house where he was assassinated. My bike was just riding right beside his house.
Wow.
Just like a few meters away from his house. The house that apparently he was killed at.
Right. So, I mean, I pulled up some pictures from just, your trip, at least the Pakistan leg. Tell us what were these bits here, and I think I have them in chronological order, but I might be wrong. So here's the first one up. Let me know. Do you see this?
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So was that the bike that you took and hit the road with?
Yeah. What I did was, when I reached the border of Pakistan in Lahore, I took a bus to Islamabad and I rented a bike from Islamabad, and from Islamabad all the way I traveled up north to Gilgit to the Passu Cones. That was my final destination. So this is the bike that I used. Yeah.
What bike was this, man?
This is a very, very cheap model China bike which they rename. I don't even recall the actual name of it, but there is many rebranding of this particular bike. It's only about 200cc. And this is the only available bike there is to rent in Pakistan. I've checked with all the bike places and nobody could offer anything bigger than this. So I had to use whatever that's available.
So how many days
the bike was
sorry, the bike what?
The bike was usable. It could go to your destination, but it's a bit risky lah, I would say. But they are riskier bikes. Anything else smaller than this is going to be like 100cc mini Pakistan bike, So with my weight and bag, I don't think that thing would work. So this is the biggest that I could get actually in Pakistan.
Wow. I mean, because it looks like a big bike, but if you're telling me it's only 200cc, then I'm thinking with all your baggage and all that.
Right.
Not enough, right?
It didn't struggle. But it didn't had a how to say, when you get to a medium speed, it start to rattle. And for the distance that you're going to travel, almost 700 to 800 kilometers to Passu from Islamabad,
Yeah.
that would be quite difficult, actually, I would say.
Now, I remember in Nepal, what bike was that when you went? And I remember your wife was with you on that trip.
Right.
What
That
bike
was
was
the
that?
last trip, and she doesn't want to follow after that anymore.
Oh, really?
Wife,
Huh?
if you're watching this,
You scarred her for life, is it?
no, I bring her to the most epic one first. Then after that, she traumatized, don't want to follow already. All right. So, yeah, for Nepal, I used the Royal Enfield Himalaya 411cc.
Okay, so that was definitely a bigger
That was
bike.
a good bike. That was a good bike. That bike was built for this kind of adventure. That bike is
Right.
built for off-roading, and the tires were just right. The suspensions were built for rocky conditions, and it had the power to pull 2% up even with the back. Nepal and Pakistan's riding condition is day and night, totally different situation, because the one in Nepal, the roads were almost, I would say, 70% off-roading,
Right.
70% going onto rocks and boulders, like big rock and boulders, avoiding and going into deep rivers and actually trying to push your bike and your whole entire shoes soaked with water. Those how crazy Nepal is. But Pakistan right now, they've already have the Karakoram highway built in a condition where it's immaculate. If you watch the some of the pictures that I have and the videos, you can see the highway has been built in it, almost like the north-south highway of Malaysia.
Yeah, who built that highway? Who built it?
China and Pakistan.
So they have an agreement. China does have an agreement.
Right. This is the agreement through the Silk Road, and they started building this. I think they took them almost 10 years, and 1,000 people died trying to build this.
No way.
Right, and people are still dying trying to maintain this road.
Why?
It's not that it's done. Constant landslide.
Oh wow.
Constant landslide. So as you're traveling, perfect condition road, suddenly you'll see the entire road patch has disappeared. So you'll go into like some off-roading for like 5 seconds, and then you go back into a normal road. The reason why for this is because that the landslide, the roads, the rocks that fall into the road damages the road, and they will take some time to actually clear it up. And if you're unlucky, you will be the one that are stuck before your destination, and some people stay there for almost 24 hours to 48 hours, especially the truckers.
On the road.
Bikers, right. They stay in the truck for almost 48 hours. Yeah. There's a very common thing actually in that road. Karakoram is one of the most hostile roads in this world.
Wow.
One of the most hostile. In fact, every time when I was stopping, I think I stopped almost about 7 times, 8 times throughout the whole entire Karakoram journey from Islamabad to Passu, because the road had landslide and stuff like that, and they are clearing up the road, and they allow the bikes to pass. So they will make a small little path, and the bikes can pass, but the cars and trucks and everything will be stuck for more longer hours, or probably even a day.
Wow.
Right. It's hardcore, bro. I would say this is really hardcore, bro. Really hardcore.
When was that highway completed? Do you know?
I'm not sure about that, but it's very recent, and it's still in maintenance all the way. They're still actually building some portion of the road. They're still continuing to bypass certain rivers, because there are new landslides that nobody anticipated. Like, for example, the Atabat Lake and stuff like that. They bypassed the lake and they built a tunnel, which when I was there, they said it will be completed in 1 or 2 years. But when I was traveling, I had to go a bigger route around the tunnel and things like that on an unpaved road. The lake, what happened how did that lake actually come about is that there is a landslide that came onto a whole entire village, killed the entire village, wiped out the entire village, and through the months and years, through rainwater, glaciers, and melting of ice and all that, that landslide that stopped the flow of water, that landslide actually stopped the flow of water and made it into a lake. The photo that you see in some of my pictures, where you can see blue frozen lake. I think one picture that I have with blue frozen lake. That lake is actually a very recent lake, and it happened because of a landslide.
Tell me if this is the one.
Right. This is the one. Right.
Wow.
This is the lake. Right. This entire lake, you can show another one more picture, which is the one facing the mountain and things like that. There was a landslide. And there used to be a village. People used to live down there
Wow.
underwater. Right. So that place is actually very, very crazy, and they're building new roads to bypass certain things.
How long is the highway? The Kakaram?
Karakoram Highway, it's
Karakoram.
about Karakoram Highway is about 1,000 kilometers. It connects from China all the way down to south until Karachi, south of Pakistan. I'm
Wow.
not sure. Yeah, it connects all the way down.
Which part of China though? Like which part of China does it start?
This is that one. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But in Pakistan side, the border starts from Kunjarab Pass. That's the first pass in Kunjarab, and starting from there all the way down to south of Pakistan,
Wow.
connecting the Silk Road. Right.
When did you do the Nepal journey? Was it last year or the year before?
It was it last year? Was it 2 years ago? It was 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah.
2018.
2019 January.
I think it was 2019, dude. Yeah.
Right. It's 2019 last year, early of last
Okay.
year.
And how long did that journey take you when you? Because I know that was a treacherous.
Right. Oh, that one I flew in because wife didn't want to travel through land. It would take too long.
Sure.
And even that took me a long time to convince her to follow me. And when I actually made up my mind, she actually like, wait, you didn't consult with me. You didn't consult with me to get the agreement to actually go for this trip. Because initially it was to fly into Nepal and just to take a tour guide or something like that to travel around the area. But that was not my plan. I don't want to be in the city area. The reason for me to be in Nepal is actually to be in the Himalayas.
Right.
Actually to be as close as possible to the Himalayas and things like that. So when we arrived, it was winter.
Okay.
Every time I'm traveling during winter season, it's because of work.
Okay.
Because of work, pretty much. That is the low season for me, after
Right.
the year-end craze and things like that, after the January craze and everything start to slow down before the Chinese New Year. And that's the time when I could actually get holidays. And happened to be during that time, every year, it's the winter in every country. So when we traveled to Nepal during that time, it was winter. Everything was shut down. Everything was snowing. All hotels were just closed. Nobody was anticipating any tourism in the country at all.
Right.
And when we arrived, the place was pretty much zero tourists. We were like the only one, unless some locals were actually, nutcase like us lah, or say like me, nutcase like me, who actually would travel during that season. In Nepal, when we reached to Kathmandu, we rented a bike, the Royal Enfield, and the following day itself, we just a very minimal testing of the bike, just around the parking lot and stuff like that. Have not tested that anything prior to that. Just with some oil change and lubricating of chain and stuff like that. With the help of the tour guide who rented the bike to us. And the next following morning itself, 6 a.m., we headed off to the mountains already, and it took us almost 10 hours to reach to our destination. Not very far. I think it's only 150 kilometers. It took us about almost 10 hours to reach.
That's crazy, man.
It's really crazy. You put in perspective, right? 10 hours, 150 kilometers. Your bike, your fingers are swollen. Your thumbs are all loosened up. You're running on paracetamol. You're running on even if you Ponstan, to keep yourself stable, during that time, because and especially your butt really cannot take it for 10 hours on the butt.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
10 hours. Yeah.
So I mean, like, what has been driving you to just get out there and do these trips, man? Like, just what propels you?
I have no idea, bro. Honestly, I can't really answer you. I just can say this, whenever I look at the mountains, or whenever I look at something as crazy, as alien as this, a place as alien, say it, so chronic mountains, totally unlike what we are in right now, where we are living right now. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies, gives me the excitement, it gives me this semangat, I would say, It drives me to get really excited about the place, and it doesn't do the same with any other places like cities or
Yeah.
any other like more relaxed places. It doesn't give me that kind of drive to go to this kind of places. And I've been planning to do that for many years actually. In fact, I wanted to drive all the way to Nepal, all the way to India, to India and all that, all
Yep.
those plans.
Yep.
Yeah, so ended up like because of some documentation and difficulties of like duration, application of time, time frame that you need upfront of application, a longer time of planning and things like that. That's why that couldn't happen. I just flew in, rented a bike, and just head to the Himalayas. What was crazy is that normally people would do that with few bikes, with some at least your tour guide, at least the
An
person that rented
entourage
you.
lah. An entourage.
Right. Yeah. At least a group. But I entered the Himalayas alone with my wife, and yeah, it was really scary, lah, bro. It was really scary. I would not lie this to you, lah. It was like if you are trapped anywhere in between, it is pretty much life and death, lah.
I have a question.
It
Like,
is.
did you have maps, or how did you know where you were going?
Believe it or not, everywhere got signal, lah, bro.
Wow.
Most of the places got signal. So you just turn
Nepal
on
in the
your Google
mountains.
Right. You okay. You wouldn't say that everywhere in between have signal, but every town that you reach probably have signal. So what is most important? You download an offline map, and once you have that offline map, you just pretty much just stick to that and just follow the direction.
Tantu map.
Believe it or not, even with the map, we have got lost so many times because the road does not look like a road anymore. Whenever we reach a certain place, it's just like a river. Suddenly you just reach a river and there's no more path anymore. There's no more way or someone that has already ride on that spot before you. You cannot really tell. But believe it or not, we just stand there and waited, and suddenly one bike flare or one truck. Or believe it or not, there's even a bus. A skeleton bus that will pass by in the Himalayas. So the floor will just pass by us and we'll try to follow the truck as fast as possible.
Wow.
Just follow. Right.
Wow.
But the bus is also, it's very crazy because as along the way you're riding and things like that, you just look down the hill, you will see a bus, lorry down the hill, rush, terbalik, Right. Many cases. We were just like one route off the cliff already.
Yeah. So this picture here, tell me what was happening here.
Hey, this one is just a coffee shop. I was I was trapped in Dasu.
Okay.
3 nights because of a thunderstorm.
Okay.
I couldn't head back. In fact, I was a bit worried already because I didn't want to travel in the rain. I stayed in that town and I got down, went for a walk on the third day. I couldn't even come out from the so-called hotel. That hotel that I stayed in was the most minimal hotel I've ever stayed in. It's like 5 ringgit. I was like $2 a night. Kind of hotel. Right. So you can imagine 3 nights.
Wow.
Used blankets, used pillows, used toilets, but the hospitality is 5-star, believe it or not. People in Pakistan, they took care of me really well. They knew I was strapped and they brought food. They bought food from places and they brought it to the room straight away. They even have wake-up calls and things like that, telling me the weather forecast. Sir, tomorrow it's going to be raining. You are stuck here another one more day. they even checked in Google and even updated me with stuff like that. They were very concerned about my situation. So on the third day, initially I got the chance to go down just for a walk. I think in one of my live video, I wore short pants.
Yes. And wearing your Crocs.
Right, wearing my Crocs and my short pants and walking around town. Everybody was just staring and wondering, what is this crazy person here? Who is he? Where is he from? I can kind of turn out to look like a Pakistani at times,
right?
But they're just shocked the fact that what am I doing with shorts there? Because it's freezing. It's really cold. Temperature is like 3 Celsius and stuff like that, 2 Celsius. And yeah, this picture. All right, this is on the way up to Passu Cones. This is one of the sundry shops that are selling food and stuff like that. So I would stop and they're selling tea and stuff like that. So their teas in Pakistan is amazing. This is one of the places that I stopped and everybody just crowded around the bike. Whoever was in the area just come. All started shaking hand. All wanted to know where I'm from. Everywhere you stop, it's just like that.
And they speak English?
1 or 2 guys will eventually get to speak English. hello, sir, from where you? From where? So, you basic English, you can understand it, So
Right.
they were like, yeah, all right. And in fact, believe it or not, all of them, everyone in the picture
Ah,
is from a different area. Like one
oh,
guy is from Islamabad, one guy is Pashtan, one guy is uh, different tribes, different culture, and they're all Pakistani, but they don't speak each other's language.
oh, wow.
Yeah, right. They don't speak each other's language, so they sometimes struggle to communicate among themselves.
There's no unifying language like how China has Mandarin.
Yeah, they have Urdu. That's the
Okay.
unifying language, but they would say that when you go up north into deeper mountains, they still strongly use their own tongue, local tongue.
Wow.
Right. So they find it
Wow.
struggle to communicate even with the city and stuff like that.
So, at which point did you get stuck and then you couldn't come back to Malaysia because of COVID?
Oh, I was in Pakistan. I
Right.
made it back. I made it back to Bangkok. Actually, that's where wife lives. She's
Okay.
from Bangkok.
Right.
So I thought, after 1 month of not coming home, I just go and visit the parents lah, to at least bagi ufti lah. 1 bulan tak jumpa ufti.
Yeah.
1 minggu, you have to go and meet your parents-in-law, stay there 1 week, take them out and things like that, to make up the time that has been lost for 1 month.
Yeah.
But 7 days, on the 7th day itself, the announcement was made that Thailand shut down their international flights, shut down their border on the 7th day itself. And when that actually happened,
Yeah.
I was actually stuck for 3 months in Bangkok.
Ouch.
Ouch! So total 4 months out of the country.
Oh boy.
So I did not experience how did Malaysians do their lockdown in Malaysia. Everybody, I'm just watching the news. Everybody is stuck, couldn't go out and things like
Yeah.
that. Because
Yeah.
things in Bangkok was relatively more relaxed. It's not as bad as in Malaysia.
Oh.
You still can go out. You still can go, travel around. But of course, there is control. There's still control. There's still SOPs that you need to follow. But not as bad as Malaysia, lah.
Mm.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we got lauded as being handling the situation very well as well. We're right up there in the global news for having handled the situation very well here. I
Right.
mean, against at the detriment of businesses and all of us who are struggling. But
Right.
wow. So, if you were to summarize it was a whole month, right? Just doing the leg, the Pakistani.
Right. Entire month.
Yeah.
From
What was the
Malaysia.
highlight of that trip?
It was definitely northern Pakistan. Definitely the northern side of Pakistan.
Which is the
The
Passu Cones and all that.
Right. The Passu Cones was actually the driving factor of me doing this trip. Looking at the picture of the Karakoram highway, and at the end of the highway, you can see the Passu mountains, was the inspiring factor that made me travel this way. And not this way to travel there.
Right.
But I did it this way.
I mean, I don't know this, Sadud, but for someone who's 34 going on 35 and just being an average Malaysian man, I really think there's a reason why I wanted to share your story in this little informal way. But I really think I'm not joking when I keep telling you to write a book, man. If it's not a book, then find a way to chronicle, which you have done. You've always done photos and videos, but I think you need to compile it because people who don't know you have missed it. Because only people who are on your list, who follow you, like, I mean, I'm looking at you and I'm like, man, this fella you're very inspiring with that journey, because I don't think the average person is ever going to get to it in their lifetime.
Right.
They
can start small, bro. You can start small. Everybody can try it. Yeah,
I know, but what I'm trying to say is, instead of us looking so far ahead and reaching out to people from all across, I really think if you have the time now, especially, find a way to chronicle. I mean, if you're not the kind who's going to write, then just find somebody who can. I mean, this is amazing, like just the adventures you've had, because every time you leave and you go out, you come back richer in person.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you gain so much. You gain so much insight. You gain so much perspective about life.
Right.
And then when you talk to the average person who is lamenting about their everyday issues, you're like, yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Because very trivial. Very
that's
trivial.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think your journey and your adventures will honestly give the rest of us, like I said, forget going beyond our borders. 30 million Malaysians alone need to hear this to make us understand how grateful we should be just for being here in our motherland.
Wow, you wouldn't believe, man. When I came back to even Bangkok, even when I after 3 months in Bangkok, and when I came back to Malaysia, I was looking and I was telling the cab guy, when I was traveling back from the border, I said, "Oh, you mean a negara cantik, Malaysia cantik, That's what I was saying, because you will start to see and appreciate everything amplified. The moment you travel to places which is extremely opposite of your country, when you come back to your country, you will definitely see all the positives and negatives more clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the key things, because a lot of people take what we have here for granted. I
Right.
mean, and I think primarily the dis the discord or the discontent is generally brought on by the powers that be. But when you strip all that away,
Right.
there's just so much going on that we can be grateful for and appreciate,
Right.
and
Right. Right.
and I think someone like you, because you're not your life is not far fetched. You're just a regular bloke
Right.
who is living his life and grabbing it by the horns. And I don't know. No, I really don't know if you
Right.
intend to, but I would really ask you to find a way to chronicle your journeys in some
Right.
way or form. Lah.
Right. Right. How I actually do that is by the movies that I
Yeah,
compile actually.
I don't know. That's that. I mean, more people need to hear this, lah, dude.
Right.
Or
Right.
at least, yeah. I think this is where I think maybe you can start a podcast or a
Right.
channel to talk
Right.
about your adventures and the
Right.
learnings that you got out of it, because
Right.
the same way you've got these videos that share. So right now your videos are more like a National Geographic video where everybody's like,
Right.
holy crap, it's so beautiful, because I
Right.
mean, you're always showing off the wonders of the journey.
Right.
But not many people hear this other side to it.
Right.
And I think if there's a way that you can tell that story, I
Right.
think that's where that is so powerful.
What I would say that is very much more different from the regular way of traveling is the journey that I make is
Mm,
through the long way, no flights.
mm.
That's the only reason why this is even happening. I mean that you are interested to even know how did I did it and things like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
why did I did it?
yeah.
Honestly, bro, I tried flying, going to the place. It's I don't know how to put it in words, lah, but it's
Yeah.
like you jumping chapters after chapters in a book where you're supposed to read page by page.
Mm.
You're supposed to read the earth like a page to page.
Yep.
But instead of that, you just jump to the chapter and you just went straight there and you don't know what really happened in between. But when you
Mm.
travel by land, you will actually feel the distance. You will actually feel the meaning of the destination you actually reach. The nuance of the end of the journey is actually way more bigger, way more valuable after you travel all the distance and when you reach there.
Mm.
It's a feeling like none other. So when you actually travel, a simple thing like flying from Penang to Kuala Lumpur, lah, for example, you
Yeah.
sampai Penang already, you go makan, you balik rumah, but you don't know what happened in between. You don't know that there's a beautiful landscape of paddy fields along the way.
Yeah.
You don't know there is a beautiful valley on North-South Highway in Ipoh, somewhere around before Ipoh Highway toll. You can see all the valleys on the left side.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, that valley in Ipoh is probably the most beautifulest view that you can see from Penang until, I would say, until Laos border.
Mm.
One in Ipoh has a view that is so beautiful that I think that is more beautiful than any views that you can actually see along the way on the highway from Penang until Laos.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, you can only know that when you start to travel everywhere. And then
Mm.
you come back and you start traveling back to Ipoh, then you see, wait a minute, look at that view. Now you know the value of that view in Ipoh.
Yep.
So that's why when you travel by road, you get to read every single thing that comes in between.
Mm.
But the only setback is time. I know many people don't have time because
Yeah.
of work,
Yeah.
Everybody's stuck, they only got like 1 week maximum they can take. Okay, fine. Fly somewhere, travel by land, and then come back, fly back. That's what I did for my Nepal trip. I couldn't travel all the way by land to Nepal. So
Yeah.
what I did was fly to Nepal and then rent a bike and travel in the Himalayas. Rather than actually can fly into the Himalayas, the East Plain and things
Sure.
like that.
Sure.
Yeah, but I didn't do that because you want to see the entire route. You want to see where people live. You want to go through what people go through. The villages, the farms, the yaks, the mountains, the roads and valley, the road less taken.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all in between. Everything is in between. You miss out everything. Nasi kanda, you makan the nasi only. The ayam tak makan, bendi tak makan, telur tak makan. So you miss out on every single thing.
That reminds me how we first met by
Right.
fluke chance in the Nasi Kanda shop. Remember?
Nasi kanda.
I finished my
Yeah,
event.
yeah,
You
yeah.
came to me, you're Jiggee, right? I'm like, you are who?
No. I didn't say anything. I know. I just stared you and smiled when you wrote, and you were like, oh. Right.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
actually,
bro.
that's how we met, right? By fluke
Right.
chance, because I was, oh my God. No, but here's the thing. So, if I'm not wrong, these travels of yours, you've obviously done it in such a way that you've been very budget conscious in the sense of
Right.
you haven't splurged and yet you've had an experience of a lifetime.
Right.
Am I right?
No splurging at all. Very minimal. Got like once in a while, like certain places that you feel you already reach. This kind of place, just spend a little bit more. It's okay. But as long you're in the budget, you can do it. It's very cheap to travel this way, actually. Believe it or not. Extremely cheap.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I just don't know how many people would do that, like, I mean, if you ask me,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
yo, Santa Maria, I mean,
Come on,
I
let's
mean,
try one time, bro. Let's do the Thailand trip once. Bring your
you,
Porsche.
you let me know,
I bring
man.
my Ranger.
I no,
Right.
so my mates are all ready, like I've been doing a
Right.
lot of drives the last few
You sent me a
weekends.
video. You sent me a video earlier.
Okay,
Right. Thailand with Porsche and all that.
yeah, so I just sent your 2 videos which you posted yesterday and today, and they're
Right.
like, "Whoa, hoo ha he!" I was like, "Yeah, I mean," I said, "This homeboy has written the book on road trips, like." So yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, these boys would love it, like, I mean, just to hit the road, and
Right.
I mean, but yeah, so I mean, I just loved your sense of adventure, like. I wish more of us had it, and I think it's amazing, like, what you're doing. So what's next?
Oh, I'll have a lot of plans, but I can't really say it out yet because the moment you tell it, the plan won't happen. So I'm gonna let the flow go. And currently, because of the pandemic and things like that, nothing can be planned properly. I don't even know what's going to happen. All my plans, which is supposed to happen in a few more months, half the year is already gone.
Yeah,
Now we're already in July, and we only got another few more months until 2021.
correct.
I'm just gonna see how it goes, and I'm gonna play by ear, lah. Let's see how it goes, lah, right now. Because even like the closest flight or closest journey to Thailand also right now requires documentation, which are crazy right now. It took me so long to get approval to get back to Malaysia. Even prior to this.
And here you are on quarantine, by the way, at home, right?
Right. Quarantine for 14 days, man. I'm back home. Malaysia rocks. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've just heard it from the madman, my man Andrew LD, who, travels the world for a living, but he doesn't take. He always takes the path less traveled. He refuses to do it the conventional way.
Right.
But I dare say that he is experiencing life a whole lot more than you and me out there, lah.
No
That's
lah.
all I
Come
can
on
say.
lah.
No, dude. I'm telling you, find a way. Make
Different
sure you.
perspective lah.
No, but I really think you need to write some
Right.
form. Write about the trials and tribulations. Don't write about
Right.
all the beauty, because your videos tell us about the
Right.
beauty. So
Right.
that's a done deal. Your videos paint a picture where everyone's like, "Whoa," but nobody
Right.
knows. Yeah,
How did
if
it come?
somebody's on your Facebook page, they see you chronicle whenever you get a chance. In your
Right.
post, you tell a short story, so we
Right.
can relate to what you've just gone through. But a lot of people are not going to have that opportunity, and I think that you really, because with all due respect, Yusuf, man's been doing it for 20 odd years, but again,
Right.
he started in his 50s.
Right.
Dude, you're doing this in your 30s, man.
Right.
It,
It's not
it,
going to stop, bro. It's
I
not going to stop.
know, I know,
It's
but
going to just go all the way.
you just remember, you need to bring me along, like, I'll be your Sherpa.
All right.
I take that back.
Let's do it, bro.
I take that back. But, I'll come along. No, but
Oh
what I'm
boy.
saying is, if there's a way you can find time to chronicle, I really think, dude, you should put your experiences to paper. Your experience
Right.
to paper.
Right.
I think it will edify and empower quite a few people.
Right.
I mean, I know your journey is not over, but maybe you can do a part one and then 5 years later
Right.
a part
Right.
two. I mean,
Right.
you've got enough adventure for the last 5 years to write.
Not enough. Not enough.
Shut up.
Not enough at all,
By,
bro. There's
by
so
your
much more
standards,
to
not
explore.
yeah,
Believe it or not, I've not been to Europe and things like that, but I'm taking it one step at a time.
yes,
I'm
but
going to
dude,
plan to travel even by land, even for
yeah,
those
okay,
places.
there you go. But what I'm trying to say is,
Right.
even with your journey to the border of China, I
Right.
don't know many fellows have done it.
Right.
You know,
Right. Right. Right.
and for those who do, they do it
Right.
in a convoy. Nobody
Right.
does it
Right.
solo like you. You're a real woohoo, as we would say in
Right.
Malaysia, sot plug.
Sot
Hashtag sot
pla.
plug.
Siao kia. For those international viewers out there who is watching this show right now, Xiao Kia means mad boy in Hokkien, Chinese.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know, our homeboy here is the definition of Chindian, half Indian, half Chinese. Hence, he looks a little lost in translation.
Kopi susu, bro.
And now here's wishing us that business comes back to normalcy so that me and
Right.
you have more Atakasams to cause, in the world of
Right, man.
events and whatnot. Virtual it is, huh?
Yeah,
Huh?
man.
Haven't seen you in person, but now we're doing this way. Look at that.
Oh my god. You're
All
doing
right.
good, bro. I love your show. I've been following your podcast and stuff like that. You're doing really, really well, bro. Very
Yeah,
nice
so
what you're doing right now.
I put you on this platform because for us we are friends and I want to just
Right.
tell your story.
Right.
It's very raw. This is not the Jiggee Jon show per se, because I think it's really just just you sharing your tales and along the way every time you do another crazy adventure I'll have to chat with you and it's all
Right.
over. Like,
Right.
to be
Right.
honest, I haven't even pulled out the meat of just Okay, let me just wrap it up with what was the toughest moment in this trip. The moment when you were like,
Okay. Easy. Very easy. It was when I was traveling back, when I was in Passu, when I reached my destination,
Hmm.
I got the news that Pakistan may be going into lockdown. So what happened was that I didn't stay in Passu, the place that I intended to stay. I didn't stay. I just traveled for like a few hours and then started heading down back to
Yep.
Islamabad.
Yep.
To get back to Islamabad takes about 3 days.
Okay.
I've already done 1 day.
Yep.
Second day traveling back, I have to make it to my destination. Otherwise, I'm not going to make it to the airport to get out of Pakistan in time.
Right.
So what happened was, on the way back, somewhere around, let's see, I've been traveling from morning 8 a.m., 7 a.m. It's already, let's say I've been traveling until afternoon 2 p.m., 3 p.m.
Okay.
The rain started. The rainy season started. The
Ooh.
storm started.
Yeah.
So, and bear in mind, with your winter jacket, the temperature is at night goes up to -10, -20 in the area that I was in. It goes up to -10, -20. The season is pretty much coming off winter, but still in winter. So when the rain actually hits you from 2 p.m. until probably 9 p.m. at night, in freezing conditions, your jacket, your winter clothes, your gloves, everything is wet.
Question: At that temperature, shouldn't it be snow? How come it's still rain?
Yeah, it's already at that time. There's certain areas are still snowing. If you can see in the video, there are some places are snowing. If you go to a higher elevated area, it's snow. It gets back down to the highway. It's not snowing because some areas already start to slope down into lower lands already. 3,500 meters, 3,000 meters above sea level.
Yep.
So when I was going down, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock is the time when the sun is completely blacked out. You can't see anything. There's no street light whatsoever. And you are in the middle of the Karakoram highway in between gigantic mountains. Alone. So what you have to do is you have to pull all the energy you have, pull all the sneaker bar that you have in your bag, pull all the sneaker bars, the chocolate bars, eat it so that you can retain as much heat as possible, sugar, and start traveling. What happened was, as I was traveling at 6 p.m. at night, it's already 6 p.m. is dark already, pitch black already. As I was traveling, I reached a very long patch where there were no tarmac, completely off-road kind of things, because they were doing a construction in the area.
On the highway.
On the highway itself, I'm not sure whether they're upgrading it or that's a new path that they are building. So
Wow.
so you have to go into puddles of water for almost 2 hours. And I was standing on my bike. I didn't ride my bike like sitting down and riding like that. I had to stand, because if you sit down too long and you're going into bumps too many times, you injure your backbone, your lower back, and things like that. So you have to
Serious, huh?
stand. Yes, for almost 2 hours. So I had to stand and hold my bike. I had like completely swollen palms and things like that. Completely, my thumbs were. It felt like wanted to detach from my hand. My knees, my legs, my body were freezing the whole entire time. You can only stop in certain places. I think if you check out some of my videos, you can see there's one video that I introduced some guys who tried to help me, where the place I stopped, they brought me tea, they brought me some bread, and I had to continue. There was another 10 more kilometers. It was already pitch black. And once in a while, when you're riding in the pitch black in the storm, there'll be thunder. And when the thunder reflects onto the mountain, which is on your right, you will realize where you actually are. Because the pitch black actually helps to not make you feel too afraid of where you are. But when the thunder hits, when there's light, it will remind you that you are actually in the middle of the mountain alone in the rain. It's make it or break it.
So here's the question: why were you traveling at that time? Why didn't you call it a night and pull over and wait?
Right. So it was a miscalculation thing. Before that particular patch, it was actually 5 p.m. I could actually stop. The next area that I supposed to stop in my itinerary was actually about 20 kilometers away only. It's about 50 kilometers away from Chilas to Chilas to Dasu. If I'm not mistaken, about 48 kilometers more to go. So I was thinking, make that 48 kilometers and you will be at your destination where you are supposed to be at. The rain was not heavy. The rain was just drizzling at that time. So I made my mind to continue. And that's where the rain continued to become more heavy at that time. It became a storm. It was pitch black, and the road condition just went crazy after that. So to me, that's how I got into that hotel that I told you, that $2 a night. I didn't bother already. As long as I had shelter, as long as I can just get into bed, I can just get into safety. That is my priority. Otherwise, I'll be stuck in the next patch of mountains, which I don't know when I will reach. I'll probably run out of petrol. I'll probably get into more danger. So to me, after that, I got stuck for 3 nights, and then I traveled back to Islamabad and got my plane off to Bangkok. I was supposed to fly back to Kuala Lumpur, so I couldn't make it anymore. I couldn't make it for the Kuala Lumpur flight, so I got a ticket. To Bangkok, yeah. I supposed to go to Kuala Lumpur, and wife supposed to fly back to Kuala Lumpur actually. And
I see.
Yeah. But that didn't happen. Fly to Bangkok instead.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just you telling me that, I was already mentally imagining that situation. You in the pitch dark. I mean, like, I don't know of many people who would have the gumption to go through that, lah. You know, I mean, like, now you're out of it, so you can tell that story. But you know what I mean, like,
right. No,
I think
that is very scary. You have nobody to help you, and there was you don't at that kind of moment you don't want to give a slight chance to even give in to fear, because if you do give in, then you glababewa lah. You will start to panic, and then your judgment and everything will go off track. There are times that the one that I mentioned about the lightning that gives that glow and then reflects onto the mountain, and you can see the gigantic mountain reflection, like the silhouette of the mountain on your right. That's when you actually freak the hell out of you. You will get really, really scared the moment when you see that mountain on your right, because you will realize where you are. And then that's why you want it to be pitch black. You just focus on the road only. All you think about is the patch, the holes in the road, in between the road. Just keep going. You know, that is the only thing that I regret not recording. But I couldn't take out my recording. I couldn't take out my phone to record the thing. I couldn't record the thing because I was entirely focused onto the road. It was just jumping and jumping and jumping, and I was standing the whole entire time.
wow.
That to me, it was a close call. That was a really close call. I could have been trapped.
All I can say is,
Hypothermia.
I mean, I've got clients who want to hire motivational speakers and inspirational speakers and all
Hi.
drama minggu ini. But no, I'm not. I'm not pandering you. Neither am I blowing sunshine up your ass. But I just
Woo.
feel if you tell your story the way you tell your story, and from a topic and an angle of just perseverance and the the extent the human mind and the human psyche can push itself, that is
Right.
what you're doing. I mean, nobody is daring you. You obviously get different kicks in life, but
Right.
in you doing that, and you come back to tell us the story, it's actually allowing us to take stock of our own lives. I mean, now I ask myself, I'm like, okay, if I was in that situation, first of all, I wouldn't be in that situation.
Right. 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 Exactly.
There's no way. I mean, the
Right.
average person will, thank you very much. I will just listen to your stories and follow your exploits. But
Right.
you go, you take it and
Right.
go. I
Right.
mean, so there's no way the average person is going to do what you do.
Right.
But just hearing you tell these stories, I really do think that on your off seasons when you're not out somewhere globetrotting, I really think that these are stories that people should hear. I mean, how many 35-year-old Malaysians can tell this story?
Right. But I've
I
been crazy from a very young age, lah, bro. Very
Dude,
crazy.
but I'm telling you, it's only since I've gotten to know you and watched your
Right.
exploit, I
Right.
think it's these last few years that account where people would be genuinely interested to hear and know.
Right.
Like, I mean, if you took stock of your Nepal trip, of your road trip to the borders of China, I am sure there were instances, there were moments, but maybe
Right.
this probably was the most hazardous,
Right.
plus
Right.
the one with your wife in the mountains of Nepal,
Right.
Kathmandu. I'm sure these are
Right.
the two most dangerous trips
Right.
that you
Right. Right.
where
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
could have been life and death. Like if
Right.
something bad happened, you know what I mean?
The Nepal one would be a more constant life and death situation. More constant.
That's what I'm saying. So
Right.
if you could just pull from that trip and this trip alone, and you brought this together, I swear you have a story that even corporate Malaysia, if they were to just hear you, they're like, oh crap. I mean, we talk about perseverance and I mean, nobody put you up to this challenge, but yet you put yourself up to it. But
Right.
in doing
Right.
so, you've proven that this is what the human body and the human mind and the when you set your heart and soul and mind to it, what you can achieve, lah.
Right.
Yeah, so that's I'm just putting it out there, man. I really think you should think about it because I mean, if you can't tell your story, I'll tell your story on your behalf, lah.
Awesome, bro.
And you just
This
stand
is the
there,
best.
smile, and yeah, this was it, and that was that, and I will
Ini
tell the
saya.
story.
Mhm. Approve. Can. No problem, bro. No problem. This is the best, bro. It's been a while since I did any interviews, bro. It's been like 10 years almost. And
No, because
thanks,
I
lah,
mean,
brother. Thanks for this
it's
opportunity,
not
man.
even an
Yeah.
interview. This is just us having a conversation like we normally would.
Right,
It's just
right.
that I mean, when we do catch up, we end up talking about everything else but say things like this.
Right.
But if this has given, and in doing all of this and this platform only came along since me being stuck at home, right?
Right.
This ability to now sit with you and yak with you while you're sitting in Penang and I'm in KL, but yet
Right.
we're talking about your adventures in Pakistan. I mean, it's
Right.
amazing. I mean, when I do edit this video and post it up and share it on YouTube as well,
Right.
please do share it as well because I
Definitely,
think
man.
more people need to hear these stories. I mean, this is long style, but
Right.
by Joe Rogan standards of 3.5 hours, mine is just baru warm up, lah.
Right. But
You
you're
know,
doing the best thing ever, man. You are
Thank you.
inspiring, man. You are inspiring, bro. You yourself is inspiring, man. You are
Alah.
one idol, man.
Ayo, janganlah macam tu. So
Malu-malu kucing pula.
I idolize your travels. I don't know what you want to idolize of me, but
Right.
looking forward to when we can have a good fat churut together.
Bro, you have traveled around the world more than me, probably.
No,
Way.
but
Come
you see,
on.
but that is the stark difference. I'm a flashbacker.
Right.
Do you know what a
Your
flashbacker is?
Your Iceland trip was amazing, man. Oh my god, those waterfalls and all that.
Which I know you will eventually get there, but the difference is I took the classic route. Lah. I fly
Right.
and
Right.
then I like a bit of adventure. So I
Right.
am 50% of what you do. I like the same adventure. Like, I mean, I did Cuba, I did the whole bus, I did the whole train, I did all of that, right? And then even
Right.
last year driving around, but it's still I mean, obviously my locations are not exotic like yours, lah. Mine are the regular exotic. because
Right.
for me, creature comforts. I mean, you asked me to sleep in a $2 hotel with used
Right.
pillows and used blankets. Read between
Dude.
the lines.
Dude, in India, bro, I had to wait for my train for almost 24 hours. And there was like a waiting room that you can pay for. Almost like about 5 ringgit, about 1 USD, 2 USD also. It's at the
Okay.
train station itself. It's like a so-called VIP waiting room or something like that, where you pay and you get a room. That particular room, bro, you go inside, they eat this bitter nut,
Better.
sirih. Yeah, that thing. And the moment you enter that room, the whole entire wall is filled with that spit.
They spit the
And you,
red ones out.
yeah, and it's all over the wall, and they don't clean it, and the toilet is unusable. The bed is also used. You have to be there and wait for 24 hours. I was basically sitting down at the edge of the bed and trying to get myself used to the situation. This is a few of my experiences that I went through, and I actually went through it. 24 hours, hand sanitizer maximum, sapu minyak, everything all, you will get through it. But after you get out of that, you think back, oh my god, what the hell did you put yourself through? But that was
Correct.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was one experience at the train station here
So there you
in
go.
India.
So I mean, I would love to hear your story, and I would love to have more people listen, and or even just find a way to maybe just blog about it, or find a
Right,
way to put it out there, man. Like put your
right,
thoughts on paper, and
right,
and have videos and photos to back it up, because I think
right,
that is something that you can eventually concise it into a 1 hour or a 45-minute uh, session where you can actually start to share your story, and
right.
it will edify and empower people.
There is an end goal actually, but
Okay.
I have to finish the procedure, and it'll take years. And
Yeah. So
let that
don't give
let
me all
that
this
be
grandma.
the
Yeah, yeah. Don't give me all
yeah
the grandmother stories. Don't
right
wait for the end goal. The same
right
way
right
you are
right right
doing all this,
right
do this in batches, dude.
right right
Do
right
this in
right
batches.
right
Chronicle the last 5 years, all that you've done, and make it
right
your phase one story.
right right right
Think about it. I'm telling you because I know I hire people to tell their stories, and
right
half of them are not worth their salt, lah.
right. Thanks, man. Thanks in believing, man.
So find a way to put your story on paper. You know why? Because I think from just the angle of perseverance and pushing the human body and the human mind, you are a good story. You are.
Right.
So think
Thanks,
about
brother.
it. Take it seriously. I'm not. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not joking. Huh? I'm.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I think you're the kind of guy. If you have given something thought, you will actually put your mind to it.
Definitely.
So yeah, I
More
think
plans
that's.
coming up. More craziness is coming on the way.
Find a way to include your friends lah. Jangan shock sendiri saja.
Dia tak boleh ikut. Friends tak boleh ikut. Banyak takut.
I'll find a way to. I'll tap out. I'll tap out when I reach
I
my
had
limit.
so many friends who were like, "Hey, when's your next trip? When's your next trip? I want to follow." Okay, fine. Let's do it. Bring your pillow. Huh? What? Bring your pillow. Why? Yeah, for certain places we need to stop and sleep along the way. Hey, I tell you what, I will meet you there. I'll fly. You go first. All that kind of nonsense will happen throughout the years. Everybody says the same thing. The moment the plan come out, everybody cancel already. Come, anybody who wants to do it, who's willing to do it, let's do it. It's gonna be
Like I
crazy.
said, let's just do a drive trip to Penang, to Thailand for starters.
Right, right. Phuket lah,
Now
bro.
what?
Let's do Phuket lah. Let's do Phuket as soon as possible.
I'm okay. Let me know, man. As soon
Let's
as the
go.
borders open, let's go.
Let's go.
As soon as the borders open, let's go.
Oh my god. Oh, definitely, man.
Okay?
I'll bring you around, bro. I'll bring you around.
No. It's happening. Just let the borders open. I will first
Okay.
make my way up to Penang, and then we'll onward.
Ons. Kasih
On.
on saja.
All right. Cantik macam bunga.
Right, man.
All right, homeboy. Thank you very much
Okay,
for
man.
80 minutes of talking.
Oh, that was quite long, huh? Not bad, huh? All right.
Yes, sir. All right. So
Nice. Okay.
I will edit and post it up as well. So for those of you
Sure.
who stuck with us, who watched along the way and dropped out and dropped in, hopefully the story of Andrew LD, it struck a chord with you somewhere and fired you up in the belly to get out there and travel.
Yeah, man.
There we go.
Travel anywhere. Just go. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Just go. Your friends say cannot follow. Just go. Just pack your bags.
Heard
Somebody
that,
says
folks?
start to give somebody give you an excuse and say like, hey, you can't tomorrow I cannot follow lah. I cannot. Never mind, just go alone. It's a whole different dimension when you travel alone. You'll get to discover yourself. You get to do things however you want, whenever you want. You know how much you spend. You want to change your plan 100 times along the way. You decide to go minimum, decide to go maximum, however you want to do it. Try doing alone one time. Just travel to a town nearby you alone. Don't bring a friend along, and see how different it would be.
Phew, spoken like a true champion. Now, having done that
Yeah.
myself, I can attest to that fact.
Right.
Traveling with friends is fun, but when you do a solo trip, it is therapeutical.
Right.
It is your moment of zen. So I would highly recommend. So this raw session was all about traveling and pushing yourself to the epitome of how far the human mind can go. Perseverance, and nobody else
Right.
better than my man Andrew LD. So thank you very much, Habibi. I'll see you
Romba
soon.
Nandri, Kopkun
I
Kap,
am
terima
very glad, you're
kasih.
very happy. You are back in the motherland, back in the folds of Ammar and Appa. Well done.
Thank you very much. Romba vanakkam, romba nandri. Thank you. Kamsialu, xie ni. Okay.
That was
Kopkun
Raw
Kap.
Sessions for 2020. I think it's my third one or whatnot. But thank you, folks. It has been a pleasure.